So my roommate's been sending me these links to different houses that are for sale. But she sort of got on a kick of just window shopping for houses, and she kind of got me into it too.
Is she looking for a house for herself?
No, she's not interested in buying a house.
Okay.
She just wants to look at them online and compare the prices because it's kind of fascinating. I'll give you an example here.
Okay.
In this community near us, this small town near us, there are homes available, 3, 4, 5-bedroom homes, for under like $30,000.
There's a reason for that, though.
Yes, you have to live in that town.
That town as a whole. There's nothing there, and everyone's fleeing it. Everyone. Not just people of one particular color, but everyone is fleeing that town.
I don't want to live there, Chris, but I did some research. A 30-year mortgage for $24,000 would be like, I don't know, $5 a month or something. So why don't we just buy a house in Rantoul, and it'll be our clubhouse. We only have to go there on the weekends, and as soon as we're done, we leave. We don't have to live there.
Why do we have to even go there at all? Well, is it the kind of thing like, are you trying to like flip a house?
No, because no one's going to buy it.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, well, how about this? It'll just be, we'll buy a nice 3-bedroom house, and we'll just use it for storage.
Well, that I do need. I do have a lot of crap. You know, that man can dream. But, you know, I mean, I want to store things definitely. 3-bedroom house. It's 20 miles from here. Storage units are cheap.
This is HIMYM Superfans. Hey there, Chris Venezia.
Hello, James Hamilton.
This is the podcast where we talk about the CBS comedy How I Met Your Mother. Most of the time.
Right. And our goal, as always, is to ruin the show for you.
That is your spoiler alert. We are going to spoil plot points for the entire series.
So this week's episode is Single Stamina, a.k.a.
T-Mobile presents The Only Black Guy in New York.
That's not where I thought you were going to go with that.
No?
No. Nope. So it originally aired November 27th, 2006, written by Kristen Newman. Is that Kristen? Kristen.
Yeah, that's Kristen.
Queerston.
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 It's a Q, then an R in it.
the R's before and after. So, as always, directed by Pam Fryman.
Fun fact about this episode, Pam Fryman helped the actors Josh Radnor and Jason Segel prepare for that dance club scene by constantly hitting on them throughout the episode. And the previous episode.
I bet that was helpful.
And the episodes before that.
So if you can't tell, fans, my voice is actually fairly shot this week. If you can't tell that, then great. But nope, I went to a roller coaster amusement park yesterday and did a lot of screaming. And now my voice sounds very different, at least in my own head.
So, some great guest stars in this one, Chris. Wayne Brady, of course, the guest star du jour, the only black guy in New York, is James Stinson, Barney's brother.
Gay black brother.
We also have Megan Mullally, plays the voice of Barney's mother. She was in Will and Grace, and she played Tammy, too, on Parks and Rec that we saw last week.
Oh, I know who that is. Yeah, that's that woman.
Yeah. You know what you are? You're a bunch of racists. She sounds just like that.
That is what I remember her sounding like, so it's pretty good.
Perfect impersonation.
Never better.
So I like this episode. It sets up the Barney family, the Stinson family. We get to see his brother, we get to hear the voice of the mother, and of course we'll meet his extended family throughout the series. But this is really a Barney episode. It's Barney being emotional and vulnerable in a way we haven't seen before.
Yeah, and he doesn't like it.
No, it's not a good look for him. So, as Mother Fan Dan would say, this is the one with the not-so-subtle foreshadowing.
Stay tuned till the end. Yeah, we're going to watch this one. You don't have to sync up with this, but as we've been doing with the other episodes, we're going to watch it while we talk about it. Watch and talk while we watch it. Gotten all the way to winter.
I do love this scene because it does really it's really successful how they set up the feeling of being cozy and inside during winter, and just being with your friends or family.
Yeah, I wonder if they turn up the AC on the set to have Barney dress up like that, and like he was really covered up, and it would have been very warm. I guess it was only for a few seconds. The scene at the window with the couples, I like that one. It also really sets up like the four of them have like really settled into a nice groove.
Yeah.
Of being a foursome.
Yeah.
And they don't need Barney anymore.
Right.
Because they're two couples.
Barney feels abandoned in this episode, and the other characters, they completely cling to each other. Now that Marshall and Lily are back together,
right?
He doesn't need Marshall to hang out with.
Right.
No cougar hunting.
Yes. Yeah, this is the worst time in Barney's life, I would say.
Yeah, it could be.
At least as an adult.
Right, yeah,
Post-college, what's her name? Post-Shannon adult. This has got to be the worst thing that's happened to him so far.
Yeah. Well, I do want to say about this opening scene where they're telling Robin about Barney's brother. There's a look in Josh's and Lily's eyes that said, "Let's play a little trick on Robin."
Oh, yeah.
Like, so we'll tell her that he's gay.
Right.
Not mention that he couldn't possibly have the same father.
Which is fun later when Barney meets James's dad and then suddenly thinks that he's black.
Yes. It always makes sense, guys. I have such great rhythm.
Good at basketball, which he's actually terrible at basketball.
None of those things are true, Barney.
Right. So Wayne Brady shows up. He is wearing a suit. It's like their thing together. Allegedly they would wingman for each other all the time. We don't see that very much in the show.
Well, they do show us a little clip of them winging for each other in this episode.
In this one, yeah.
But never before or since.
Right. Now, when did James start wearing suits? Because I know Barney gets upset with him later on in the episode. It's like, the suit is what separates us from those, t-shirt and jean, normal people or whatever he says. But James was, kind of a jock dressing kind of guy in the past. I wonder when he started suiting up. Yeah,
in a future episode, we'll see the flashback to James's hetero college days.
Yes.
And he's wearing like a jersey and the beer helmet.
Yeah, the beer helmet.
He's just super macho dude. And we know Barney started suiting up after Shannon dumped him. And actually, in that episode where we see Barney visit his hetero brother, is immediately after Shannon dumps him. Because he's still dressed in his hippie garb and he's crying about being dumped.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like Barney suited up first.
I love this scene here with Josh and the bowl of ice cream.
Yeah.
Why? Because...
Well, he needs to talk with his mouth full.
Yes.
That's like, the joke is, Barney says, like, you're out, Ted. James is my wingman now. And Ted's got, like, a big mouthful of ice cream. Like, okay. I don't care.
Yeah.
Or go back to living my awesome life of eating ice cream all the time and banging Robin.
Yeah, I'm going to continue not caring about that. I'm still here in my own world with this bowl of ice cream.
So this is where we get to see, like, when they do wingman for each other, how well it works to have a gay brother wingman.
Yeah,
he comes off as very non-threatening.
Yeah. Yeah, they have two basically plays here. They have the disarm her with the gay man who's going to be disarming because he's genuinely interested in her H&M scarf.
Right.
Or the other play was James plays a hetero creep dude, and Barney sweeps in as the hero.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Good.
Then they have this other play for James, where James is unconscious and needs mouth-to-mouth, and Barney gets to pick who does it.
Yeah. Kind of confusing, though, because later when they go to the dance club, it seems like all Barney has to do is introduce James to the other dudes. Be like, hey, here he is.
Yeah, they
go have sex in the bathroom.
Right, they can't they can't get enough of him, like, just right off the bat.
Yeah.
It doesn't need a play.
Right.
Just super attractive.
Mm-hmm. Got a nice suit.
Right.
So Barney could not get the gang out of the apartment for weeks on end.
Yeah.
And then James comes in and gives this rousing speech about how you have an obligation. You live in the best city in the world, and out there right now are people in bumfuck Idaho and who gives a shit Wisconsin who wish they could be in Manhattan for a night.
So the gang ends up going to this, what I think is a club. It actually, I don't know, it looks kind of like a house party? They go, but they end up doing pretty much what they would have been doing at home anyway.
They're just paying more for
the same drinks. The drinks, yeah. So Josh is wearing his fleur-de-lis shirt that you like.
Yep, Saints Row, bitches.
So James is pretending to be single and having a good time and being excited, but he wants to sit down just like anybody else. I don't really buy into single stamina and couples coma. When I want to sit down because I'm tired, it's not because I'm in a relationship. Human being that sometimes gets tired.
Yeah, it's kind of a stretch. It works well for the episode because it's their framing device.
Yeah.
It's their foreshadowing device. But, I don't know, there's a kernel of truth in there. Like, if you're single, you're out on the prowl, you're kind of going into the environment with an intention. And if you're with a couple, you're just sort of there. So, there's less, just going to be less energy, less desire to get up and move.
Could be.
So I like this argument that the guys and the gals have with each other. It's a basic battle of the sexes type argument. It's still relevant today. Ted mocks Robin by saying, "Ooh, woe is me, I'm a pretty girl, and everybody wants to buy me free drinks and have sex with me. Whoa, whoa, whoa." You know, making his point, but also being oblivious. And the ladies, to their credit, they are generalizing all the guys that hit on them as creeps and losers. It's an extreme approach on both sides.
I do remember this is the episode where they, by the end of it, they want to go to a sports bar so that they can get hit on again.
Yeah.
So they go to the gay club, and they don't get hit on, and they kind of miss it.
Yeah. So, Chris, were you texting in 2006? Because the way the characters react to James's texting, and they all gasp, it's like they all assume that you would only text if you're in a couple. Was that ever a thing? I don't remember texting being a lame thing that only couples did.
No, I don't recall texting being something that you only did with a significant other, but you could, because, I mean, back then I'm pretty sure all the plans were fairly ridiculous. $20 for unlimited texting, and so I was like, well, I'm not going to pay $20 a month for unlimited texting. That's ridiculous. $20 a month to be able to send text messages to people. No, thank you. And then everyone did that. But before that, it was like paid per text, or you could pay for like $5, and you'd get like $200 that you could use in a month, and if you went over that, then it was something else. But like, texting, you didn't do it a whole lot because it was expensive if you did it a lot. And
right.
I still remember like the things you can still look for these on the internet, like the phone bills that are $10,000.
Yeah,
because somebody discovered texting. So Tom changes.
Yeah,
throughout the show. There, Tom was pretty white. I remember in the near series finale, he was definitely brown.
Yeah,
not as
caramel.
Yeah, not as brown as James, but also brown. Yes. But yeah, texting. I mean, I remember that I would text anybody who had text messaging, but if I needed to, and not very much. I remember I kept a running tally in my head of how many I did per day, because I had a limit of 200 per month. So maybe I would have saved them for my girlfriend, but I don't remember her being that much of a texter.
It was a weird time, 2006.
Yeah.
This scene after the act break where James asks Barney to be his best man at the McLaren's is unlike any other scene I can recall in the series, because this is the only time where we see Barney pissed and negative and say no. Normally he's Mr. Happy-go-lucky, yes, let's do it, let's try it, I'm up for anything. But here's like, no, fuck you. You're getting married, that's the one thing that I care about, is marriage is dumb. It's clear that it's not a joke at this point, that Barney really does have this problem with marriage because his brother just asked him to be his best man, and he said no to his face. No way.
Yeah. I mean, I remember Barney saying no to things, but it always involves, like, marriage or, like, staying in or something. Like, he'll walk in the room and be like, no, not again. We're not doing this again. You know, we're doing the thing that I want to do. We're doing the thing that is the opposite of being a couple. We're going out kind of like the single stamina and all that. So I've heard him be negative, but it's usually about marriage or staying in or being in a couple and stuff like that. But that aside, what a huge asshole. His brother asked him to be his best man, and he said no. I mean, it's not about Barney at that point. It's really, really selfish of him. If he's opposed to marriage, then he should be opposed to marriage for himself and understand that every other person is entitled to their own feelings on marriage. And if his brother wants to get married, not supporting that is super douchey.
As soon as that scene in the bar ended, they have this scene in the apartment where Barney tells the gang what his true feelings are, that James will abandon him like the rest of the gang has. It's this fear of loss, or a fear of abandonment, is actually pretty well founded, I think, in Barney's life. Like, his father disappears, his girlfriend tries to ghost out on him and betrays him, and
yeah. I mean, typically when anybody gets close to them, they disappear. And that's something that, yeah, it's well-founded for Barney. I guess that's not good enough for me. I mean, that's like saying, okay, somebody had a reason for doing something, and they do, and we should try to understand why anyone does anything for the reasons that they do them. But it's his brother, and I think he has an obligation to find a way to get past it.
Mm-hmm. Here we have the other half of the battle of the sexes. Now the guys are showing the ladies how you should politely reject a guy. And the ladies are very pleased to have guys talk to them who aren't hitting on them and be genuinely interested in their clothing. And
yeah, they're at first.
I mean, you don't have
to wait. Guys are also, like Marshall and Ted, are also digging the attention.
Yeah.
Like when Ted's getting checked out there, he's like, I do look hot.
Yes, thank you, sir. Marshall's happy because he gets to have his fruity drinks.
Right. That one wasn't actually the drink I saw him earlier. Like, it wasn't a Minnesota tidal wave. It's actually. I don't think there could have been more fruit on there because they're like offshoots off of the fruit that had more fruit on them.
Yes, it was a Lincoln log sculpture of fruit.
Yes. So Barney's plan here is to try to get James to hook up with somebody other than Tom.
He's just throwing dudes at him.
But it doesn't work. So Robin and Lily have gotten into the cage.
Yep.
Cage dancing.
They're enjoying it. You know, they flip it almost immediately. As soon you have like one small scene with James and Barney, and then back to Ted and Marshall, and now they're upset about getting hit on by this particularly over touchy guy.
Yeah, he was over touchy, and I think that's part of it. The other guys like looked but didn't touch.
Yeah,
and I think that's one thing that is going on in this episode. But also, I don't know, maybe it was that guy. Yeah. They didn't think that guy was quite up to their standards.
No, you're not good enough. There's a bizarre extra here who tries to talk to Wayne Brady, and it looks like a mistake.
It kind of does, and like maybe he played it off. It's like, oh, well, let's just pretend that this is part of the scene.
And here Barney literally says, "You've abandoned me."
Right. He's not quite shouting.
Yes,
but he is revealing his feelings. All right, so it turns out there's going to be a baby, and that's what turns Barney around. I'm going to allow it only actually based on the whole series. There's a few moments where Barney talks about having kids that's interesting, and we all know that he actually ends up having one and loves the child very much. But that just like watch him sort of freak out. Oh, there's going to be a baby? It's interesting, and then there's times where, like, at his own wedding or before it, where his mom finds out that Robin can't have kids, and she privately talks to Barney and says, like, but you always wanted to have kids. I say, no, I always liked kids. Never said I wanted to have my own. But he likes kids. And it's something that doesn't come up a whole lot. He doesn't like marriage, but he likes kids, and possibly the idea of having somebody to teach. Like, I'm going to teach you how to live.
Yeah, that's
kind of thing.
It just occurred to me that maybe he likes kids because kids are, in general, very friendly to strangers. And Barney didn't have a lot of friends. He clearly has issues being honest with women, and probably all people.
Right.
So maybe around kids he can be himself. He can do the magic to someone who's going to appreciate it.
Well, that's true. Until they get to a certain age, and then they're going to ask you to make a bicycle clown. He's not dressed up like a clown. He's dressed up in a nice suit. Yes. The kid calls him clown and dresses him as a clown and demands a bicycle. So
that whole Barney just giving up on the I hate marriage thing because there's going to be a baby it's super lame.
You didn't like it?
I don't like it. I mean, on TV, a baby always makes things better. A baby fixes things. A baby is the solution. A baby signals the end of a story, which is what they do here.
Well, at least after the commercial break, Barney is it's getting a little hot and heavy at the reception there.
James gave him one last wingman. Here's the woman who was attracted to me back in the day, and you just go at it, buddy.
So you dislike babies as plot points?
I thought it was really lame and cliche in this episode. I thought Barney deserved a better resolution to his conflict with marriage than, oh, there's going to be a baby, I forget everything I said.
Well, I wasn't there when it was written, but I felt like when I was watching this the first time, and every time since, but I felt that even then, that they were like working themselves into a hole, and they kept digging it deeper and deeper. Like Barney finds out that his brother is in a relationship, and that upsets him, and I still feel like he's in the wrong for that. And then his brother says, "I'm actually getting married. I want you to be my best man." And that's something that it's a really, really cool moment and should be. And Barney says no and throws it in his face, and then tries to get him to cheat on his fiancée at a club. And then yells at him about how he's not wearing a suit and he's being abandoned and like he's changing too much, and I guess he needed him to stay the same or needed some stability in addition to not being left. Yells at him and like digs like he's too deep now. Like there's no way to get out of this hole anymore. So they didn't. They just Deus Ex Machana'd it and had a baby show up.
Yeah.
And Barney is really excited about the baby.
Yeah.
I don't know what else you do there.
It was a Deus Ex Machina kind of moment, but James is still abandoning him. The other four characters are still coupling up. There being a baby doesn't change any of the other problems Barney was having in this episode.
It doesn't, and that's the biggest thing that makes me want to agree with you about, like, I didn't have a problem with there being a baby. Babies exist, and they're going to be parts of stories, and even if Barney likes babies, yet nothing else is resolved in this episode. Like, all of those other things are still true. Like, James is still going to get married and is, to an extent, abandoning him and is changing, and Barney doesn't like that. Abandoning is actually a little too harsh for what's actually happening. James is growing and Barney is not, and Barney wants everyone else to not grow as well.
Yeah.
But he doesn't want to grow. He wants everyone to stay where he's at, and they're not interested in that. He has to figure that out. Maybe he could, meet some new people.
Maybe he should go back to volunteering.
Yeah, he was good at it.
For reals.
And this is where I'd scream Volunteer of the Year, but I don't think I can scream anymore.
So you have a favorite line or a memorable moment?
I do really like the window scene. That's really nice. It just, something about that, it just looks like, I want to be one of them. Like,
yes.
That's great. What a great time in your life to have like a couple and a best friend, couple friend, and you sit around in your pajamas all the time in winter when you don't want to go anywhere anyway. Like James showing up and being like, let's all get dressed and go out and do exactly what you're going to do here, but do it there for more expensive drinks. Like, why don't we just stay here? It's cold and there's snow and it's cold.
And there may be a coat check, and that's a whole big issue.
And they're not all going to be JMMAs.
Yeah. Well, my favorite bit was near the beginning when Barney and James were comparing themselves to Donnie and Marie, and they did the paraphrasing of that song, "He's a little bit country, and he's a little bit way into black guys.
Right.
I just love the perversion of that. And just a little bit way into.
Yes.
I love contradictory adjectives.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, then that's got to be right up your alley.
Yeah. This episode is definitely, I think, about Barney's abandonment. I really related to Barney's abandonment here because at a certain point in my life, my sister and I were bros, even though she's not a dude, but we were bros for a short time, hanging out. We were both in the same sort of station in life, sort of unsatisfied with our careers and our direction and our love life. And then she met a dude, and I never saw her again.
Yeah, well, not only is that false, it is interesting, though, in all the ways that's similar to Barney's story. Yeah, I mean, that's what happens in life, though. Mm-hmm. I mean, people grow and people change, and you have to re-navigate that and renegotiate and figure out what you can still do and what you can still have in common. I hope that someday you get to see her again, because that would have been like 10 years ago or something.
Yeah, it's just at least another 15 years.
Okay. Well, I hope by then that you can find some common ground.
Yeah.
So the T-Mobile thing.
Yeah.
I never caught that. It's not marketing for me. My brain doesn't process that. Like this time, I had to look for it specifically to see it. When I watched that the first time, and probably every time after that, other than this one, I remember seeing a picture of James and Tom. That's it. You're not supposed to look at like what kind of phone a phone is. Like if I hold up a picture on my phone and I'm like, "Hey, take a look at this picture of me doing this interesting thing." What I don't expect you to say when you're looking at it is like, "Huh, Samsung." Like that. Your mind shouldn't even be looking at that. It should actually be filtering that out completely.
Yeah, no one in real life says, "Hey, let me show you this picture on my HTC One phone."
Yes. So I never noticed, and I think that the fact that we talk about it now is probably like more marketing, more advertising than they ever got from me in the first place.
Well, maybe we should. At this point, we can let our fans in on the secret. This episode is sponsored by T-Mobile.
T-Mobile.
It's a really great service.
Actually, I hear they've gotten a lot better.
Yes, that's their slogan. We've gotten a lot better.
I feel like it's close if it's not that.
Yes.
But, much like James in this episode, T-Mobile has grown over time and changed.
That's excellent. I think the people at marketing are really going to like that one.
Yeah.
All right, folks, that's all we had to say about this one. What do you have to say?
Why don't you check out the Facebook group? It's facebook.com/group/HIMYM superfans.
Or if you prefer Twitter, you can follow me at HIMYM_James. Also, check out our YouTube page. Just search for HIMYM Superfans.
So what are we going to do next week?
So we'll be back next week with How Lily Stole Christmas.
Grinchy, Grinch, 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 Grinch.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye. Ooh, look at me in a yummy sandwich.